Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to the biggest, tallest, widest and deepest natural formations in North America. It's from Geography King and his videos are always top quality, so I'm going to enjoy this. Hopefully you do as well. Hopefully you're all doing well, and yeah, let's just jump into this reaction and see some of the natural beauty in this region, in this continent even.
Howdy, it's Kyle talking about some of the best natural formations in North America. I'll be examining the biggest, tallest, widest, deepest, highest, and longest of many different types of formations on the continent, including lakes, rivers, swamps, mountains, caves, waterfalls, and more. So keep watching if you want to learn about the ests of natural formations in North America. I'm going to start off by talking about rivers. The longest river system in North America is the Mississippi-Missouri system.
It is really hard to actually understand how big this is just from this image. But when you see that it literally goes, this water system goes into Canada, that is absolutely crazy.
At almost 4,000 miles. However, when talking just single longest river, the Missouri River is longer than the Mississippi at over 2,300 miles. But for water volume and discharge, the Mississippi is the largest in North America. The longest river system in North America that does not have a dam is the Mackenzie-Slave-Peace River system of Northwest Territories and Alberta, Canada. This river flows freely for over 2,000 miles.
Wow, look at this, bloody hell, this looks incredible. Looks so untouched as well. It's just mountains and woodlands and islands. Damn.
In some of the most remote wilderness in the world. Now talking about lakes, the largest one in area in North America, as well as the largest freshwater lake on Earth, is Lake Superior at over 31,000 square miles.
Of course.
However,
it is mad to me that this is a lake when you look at it, and it literally just looks like an ocean.
If we're being technical, there are only 4 Great Lakes, as Lake Michigan and Lake Huron are the same lake. If you've ever driven between the two peninsulas in Michigan, you know you're going over just lake there and not river. So Huron and Michigan is one lake in terms of geology, and those two lakes combined, or that one lake, is larger than Superior at over 45,000 square miles. But either way, the Great Lakes are all pretty big. The deepest lake in North America is Great Slave Lake in Northwest Territories of Canada.
What a name.
It has a depth of over 2,000 feet and is a...
What a mad place to live. I guess these are homes, right? That is incredible. This has got to be a very unique way of life.
10th largest lake in the world in terms of area. The deepest lake in the U.S., just under 2,000
Crater
feet,
Lake.
is Crater Lake in Oregon. And why that is so fascinating is because Crater Lake is not even one of the 100 largest lakes in the U.S. in terms of area.
Did I hear something as well about how sometimes there's a lake here within a lake? Sorry, there's a lake here surrounded by land, within a lake surrounded by mountains. Because sometimes there's a lake here. I guess not a lake. Sometimes there's water here. I think that's something I heard. That could be absolute bullshit, to be fair.
In the U.S. in terms of area, so it has the highest depth to area ratio of any lake on Earth. Not quite a lake, but the same.
I can't remember if I've seen this before. Is there aquatic life in Crater Lake? There's species that live there then. That is so, that's incredible. I just wonder how they got there. That is mad. Wait, I want to see. I've never actually seen like how it looks inside. Swimming in Crater. I want. How do I? Images inside. I don't really know how I can get it. That makes me cringe. I really have a fear of water, like deep water especially, because I can't swim. So it does make me cringe a lot. But it's beautiful to look at. This is Iceland's Crater Lake. I can't really see. I don't know how to search for what I'm trying to look for, so I'm just going to leave it there. But
In general category, the largest swamp in North America is Big Cypress Swamp in Florida. This is just north of the Everglades, which is a larger area, but the Everglades are not a swamp. It's classified as a wetland prairie and is characterized by having a large amount of grasses. A swamp is a more forested or wooded area partially submerged in water, and the largest such area in North America is Big Cypress Swamp.
damn.
Okay, so now let's talk about waterfalls. The
Of course, this is Hawaii. This looks mad. Look at this. Just completely green.
tallest single waterfall in the U.S. is Olo'upina Falls on Molokai in Hawaii. It's a free fall of almost 3,000 feet, and each of the top 3 largest waterfalls in the U.S. or Canada are all in Hawaii. For continental waterfalls, the single tallest one is Ribbon Falls, part of the Yosemite Falls series in California at over 1,600 feet. And with the Sierra Nevada receiving so much rain this winter, I'm sure the falls right now are spectacular. The widest waterfall on the continent is Vermilion Falls in Alberta, Canada.
What will this look like?
Now, this series of falls just barely classifies as being a waterfall. It's almost like a really long series of rapids, but at its widest spot, it's over 6,000.
Are you joking? This is the waterfall. that is the shittest waterfall of my life. What am I looking at? Fair enough, though. I guess by definition, it is a waterfall.
Feet. But even though it isn't that steep, over a mile wide of rapids is still very impressive. But then there's volume. In terms of height,
I was thinking Niagara Falls. When you actually comprehend how mad this really is, I would love to see this one day. It is such an incredible, just like bit of land where it's just formed all this stuff.
There are many other waterfalls taller than Niagara, but there's more water volume going over Niagara Falls than any other on the continent. It's actually a series of 3 different falls, 2 on the American side, 1 on the Canadian side, but in terms of the largest waterfall with water volume, Niagara is the king of the continent. So when people talk about the biggest waterfall in North America, it's usually...
What city's here? There's literally cities like situated next to the Niagara Falls. What? Wait, what the hell?
Usually going to be Niagara, but there are many others that are taller. Alright, so now for a few oceanic biggests. The deepest offshore canyon is Monterey Canyon off the central coast of California. It's over a mile deep and plays an important role in why there's so much biodiversity in the sea right there. For the east coast of the continent, the deepest canyon is Hudson Canyon at almost 4,000 feet. And this is the largest of a long series of offshore canyons going down to North Carolina. The largest whirlpool is the Old Sow or Old Sow Whirlpool in the Bay of Fundy off of New Brunswick, Canada. It's also just offshore of Eastport, Maine, the easternmost point of the U.S. You may have heard of the Bay of Fundy having the highest tidal range of anywhere.
When he says the largest whirlpool, the largest whirlpool, does he mean the largest whirlpool recorded? Because they don't just stay there, do they?
On Earth, and a combination of that and the undersea topography or the bathymetry is why you get this large whirlpool. And in terms of...
Or do whirlpools always happen over the same areas consistently, but they're maybe not always there? Is that maybe how it works? Also, that has really confused me. Also, whirlpool. Deaths, I don't want to see that. 2-minute ride inside a whirlpool. Oh, I guess that's like a GoPro or something. I was about to say that's not going to be someone doing it. $122 meters. Oh, Jesus. Am I stupid? Wait, whirlpools don't just stay there, do they? No, okay, it's not always there. So it's just constantly there. Okay, so the area just is very common to happen here, I guess. That's pretty cool then. I would hate to see a whirlpool though. I'd just cringe at the idea.
size, it's about a 250-foot diameter in which you get pull from this whirlpool. The largest waves that can be found near the continent are off Cortez Bank offshore of San Diego, California.
I'm not surprised that it's California with the highest waves.
Have such huge waves here is because just beneath this is what would be one of the Channel Islands, but it's completely submerged. And that just affects the ocean turbulence and makes for these giant waves. The largest ones have been known to reach 80 feet. The largest near shore waves, one you can see by standing on the coast,
Hawaii
is
as well,
Pe'ahi, or sometimes called Jaws in Hawaii. Waves here are known to hit 70 feet or so, and this is one of the top spots in the world for the world's best surfers. All right, so now let's talk about islands. The largest North American island is Greenland. It's over 800,000 square miles and is more than 3 times the size of Texas. Between the U.S., Canada, and Mexico, the largest island is Baffin Island, which is the 5th largest in the world. It's almost 200,000 square miles. It's larger than California. The largest U.S. island is the Big Island of Hawaii. It's over 4,000 square miles. It's larger than Delaware, but smaller than Connecticut. For the contiguous U.S., the largest island is Long Island, New York. And the physical feature Long Island includes Brooklyn and Queens, as well as Nassau and Suffolk counties. The largest island in a lake is Manitoulin Island in Ontario, Canada. It's located within Lake Huron. It's not as big as Long Island, but it's got to be pretty cool to be on this big island and be surrounded.
And there's a little lake here as well.
Surrounded by nothing but lake. All right, now moving into the earth. Let's take a look.
Oh man, I saw a video the other day of like someone caving, or whatever it's called, climbing through caves, whatever you want to call it. What's the name for it? I can't remember. Through the thinnest caves, and it's just like, where is the fun?
Get some caves.
We're not there yet, don't worry. But he's saying the tallest, widest, and deepest. So we're not going with the thinnest. So there's not going to be cave. How is that even? How can you say the thinnest caves? You probably can't get to them. But yeah. Here we go. Into the abyss.
The longest cave in North America and the longest in the world is Mammoth Cave at over 420 miles of known length. And this is the combined total of an interconnected web of paths. So it isn't just one long 420-mile stretch. It's a bunch of spider web type paths that adds up to 420 miles.
So it's very easy to get lost then.
Now imagine being blindfolded and dropped off in the middle of it and you have to find your way out. The longest underwater cave is Sac Actun in Mexico at 235 miles. And southern Mexico, especially the Yucatan Peninsula, is known for having many large underwater caves, including many of those pits that are submerged in water called cenotes.
Look at that.
Parts of Sac Actun are dry above the water table, but 235 miles of the cave are underwater, which makes it the longest underwater cave on the continent.
Jeez.
The deepest single drop in a cave is Fantastic Pit in Ellison's Cave in northwestern Georgia. It's a single rappel and climb out of 586 feet, which is about the same height as the Seattle Space Needle and over 2 times the height of the Statue of Liberty. This cave is located about 15 minutes south of where I live, and I know a lot of people that have done this pit.
Fuck that.
And if you want to do the biggest drop, you got to come to Fantastic Pit in Georgia.
Fuck that.
All right, now moving over to mountains. The tallest mountain on the continent is Denali in Alaska at over 20,000 feet. And it's interesting to note that for the 3 tallest mountains on the continent, one is in the U.S., one is in Canada, and one is in Mexico. The second tallest mountain on the continent is Mount Logan in Yukon, Canada at over 19,000 feet. The tallest volcano, as well as being the 3rd highest total.
The tallest the tallest volcanoes in Mexico, in Puebla.
Peak on the continent is Pico de Orizaba in Mexico. This sits right along the border of the
That is a really cool image, though.
States of Veracruz and Puebla and stands at over 18,000 feet. However, the largest mountain in the U.S., as well as being the largest mountain on Earth, is Mauna Kea on the Big Island in Hawaii. The peak is only 13,800 feet, but the mountain is over 30,000 feet tall when you count the parts that are underwater. And
I've heard that fact so many times, which is my fault because I always react to stuff like this. But I have heard that fact so many times.
That's in contrast to Mount Everest, the tallest mountain on Earth, being just over 29,000 feet. And kind of like how there are only really 4 Great Lakes, you can be a hipster geographer.
It is pretty cool, though. I wonder if people have actually swam. There's probably footage of people swimming somewhat down the cave, like in the water. people do mad shit. I assume there probably are some people that have dived not that deep, because you can't get that deep, I don't think, but somewhat down it.
And talk about Mauna Kea being the biggest mountain on Earth. The largest glacier in North America is the Bering Glacier in Wrangell St. Elias National Park in Alaska. It's about 1,900 square miles right now, so it'll be interesting to see where it is in 10 or 15 years.
Oh,
and
God.
I'm going to talk about canyons last. I do have a video just on canyons talking about some of the biggest and most beautiful.
I love this image so much. Look at this. How the hell have you built this? Honestly, how have you built this? This doesn't look like a very new bridge either. How the hell is this? I don't understand. God, engineering is mad.
For ones in North America, so I'll leave a link to that one in the description.
And it's beautiful as well.
The longest single canyon in North America is the Grand Canyon in Arizona at 277 miles.
Not surprised.
Kind of like Niagara Falls, it's the most famous one for being the biggest, but depending on how you define biggest, it might not be. The longest canyon system in North America is the Copper Canyon system in the state of Chihuahua in Mexico. It's a total of 6 canyons. No single one is as big as the Grand Canyon, but the 6 of them combined are over 1,000 miles long.
That is
and this
cool.
is one of the top natural spots in North America I want to visit.
Unreal.
The deepest canyon in North America is Kings Canyon in California. It's nowhere near as wide as the Grand Canyon, but it's 8,200 feet deep. You can't really get good grand viewpoints of this either throughout most of it, but it is a vast wilderness. The deepest fluvial canyon, one that is carved out by a river, is Hell's Canyon on the Idaho-Oregon border. This one isn't quite as deep as Kings Canyon, but is almost 8,000 feet. And even though this is a national recreation area and you'll see a lot of power boats on the river, once you get away from the river, this is one of the deepest wilderness areas in the U.S. And the last thing I wanted to mention is the longest natural arch. Nowhere else on Earth has the number of arches that we have in the southwestern U.S.
I don't even know if you really find these in the UK at all. Maybe on the coast from like erosion and stuff, but that's probably it.
And the longest one is Landscape Arch in Arches National Park in Utah. It's a span of 88 feet and one of many arches you'll see in this gorgeous...
I wonder how much longer that's going to last, because will it eventually go? I assume it probably will. Unless it won't, because to be fair, there's not really going to be any erosion, is there? Because it's not being hit by water or rain.
National Park. So that's my look at some of the big...
There we go. He always smashes it with these videos, man. It is just really nice to see the beauty of the world, and in this case, the Americas, or North America. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this reaction. Let me know your thoughts. Have you been to any of these? Have you been to a lot of these? I guess compare them to me if you've been to a lot of them, because I assume there are some people that have been to multiple of these things that have been listed. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed, and until next time, subscribe. Peace.